A great night. Appreciate the fans coming out. Last minute change to try to beat the weather tonight. And I thought we had a great crowd. We had a great atmosphere. Obviously, a lot of excitement around what's going on in this program. And then I just thought, tonight I thought we played some pretty good, clean football, which is what we wanted. We split the teams up pretty evenly. We drafted both squads, and so thought it was an even matchup. I thought we had a really good back and forth game. I thought both sides made some plays, offense and defense. It was a little bit hard to kind of keep track of who was doing what out there, but it was a great night. And so excited for Duke football, excited for where we're going. Now we got to have a really great summer leading into fall camp. We still got a lot of work to do to get ourselves ready to play Clemson. And so open it up for questions.
How do you feel the spring went for you, Coach?
Yeah, I thought it was good. I think we talked a lot about having to reestablish our identity. Every team has to create its own identity, and this team hasn't accomplished anything. They have to go out. They've got to form, the traits that are going to make them a really successful team this fall. And so I think we got the start of that. I think we've still got a lot of work to do this summer. We got to get everyone back healthy, and we got to put in the work this summer so we can come back in fall camp a really good team.
Riley got off to a good start tonight, and he completed like 70% of his passes. So kind of like last year, but is he showing the consistency you want as he takes to that next level?
Yeah, I think so. And I think, we started rotating some people around him, and I think it got a little bit out of whack as the scrimmage went on. But, I think he's got a much better feel for the passing game. Obviously, I think he's a lot more comfortable delivering the ball back there. We're not letting him make a ton of plays with his feet right now. We just really want him to kind of focus on staying in the pocket and throwing the ball. And, obviously that'll change in the fall. But, I think he's really evolved himself as a passer, and that's what we wanted him to do this spring.
Staying in the
when it was running clock for the fourth quarter, I kind of thought he was done for the night, but he's out there trying to lead a 2-minute drill against the clock.
Yeah.
Is that his decision, or is that
that was
wanting to put him into it?
Maybe a little bit of both. He's not going to sit on the sideline. We wanted to make sure we scripted enough opportunities for the other guys, and certainly Grayson went out there and got him some reps, and Henry got his share with the other team. But we had it planned that at the end we were going to come back with Riley if the game was close. It was, and so he came back out. And, he's a competitor, and so he's trying to win it for sure.
What's the main thing you want this team to do between now and when they come back in August?
Yeah, I think you'll hear us talk a lot about this. If we come back in August, it's got to look like practice 100. If this is the end of spring and it's practice number 15, we've got a lot of work to do between now and the start of fall camp to continue to build. And if we come back at the start of fall camp and it looks like practice 100, then we did what we were supposed to do in the next 3 months. If it looks like practice 1 again, then we have no chance of getting ourselves ready for Clemson.
Is that part of the reason why you started spring camp a little bit later than maybe some of your other teams around here?
No, that was really more based off of the calendar. I do not like splitting spring ball around spring break. That's just something I don't really enjoy from a flow standpoint. And so we're always going to start after spring break, and it just happened to be how it timed out this year. And so it'll always kind of be around the school calendar a little bit.
What's the difference between now and at this time and a year ago at this time?
Oh gosh, you got a laundry list? No, it's almost unfair to compare because we talk about it all the time. Last year we were just building everything, and so we weren't where we wanted to be from a strength and conditioning standpoint, from an understanding of the schemes, nothing. Nothing was even close to where we wanted it to be. And now obviously we're a year later, and I think we've established a pretty solid baseline for what we want good football to look like. Now we just got to continue to do it. Again, the summer's huge. I think everybody can start fast. We've got to be able to sustain through the summer and have a great summer and come back ready to go.
Mike Jones is obviously somebody that came in as a true freshman and made a big positive impression. Can you talk a little bit about him and any other players who stood out this spring from a surprise standpoint?
Yeah, obviously Peyton came in and he should still be in high school, and so he got thrust in. I think obviously he's got some really natural explosiveness as a ball carrier. He's still got a lot to learn about the nuances of playing college football, but he's certainly extremely talented and very happy with the job that he did. I think Vance Bulliard has showed some things. I think Apollos Cook has shown some things. Obviously Grayson Loftus will get better. I think the game is really, really fast for him at quarterback right now. And then I think some of the new faces. I think some of the transfer offensive linemen. Obviously the 2 new kids we added in the secondary. I think those are guys that are going to help us.
Coach, the team where you want them to be coming out of spring that they were at the beginning of spring?
Yeah, everyone always tries to ask those questions. We just are where we are, and I don't really, you don't really try to make projections of where we hope we could be or where we should be. We just try to get better every day, and I think that's just kind of how we evaluate it. And so we kind of look at ourselves more from like day-to-day tasks and are we improving, are we steadily climbing, and I think we are. And so I'm happy with the spring that we had. I'm happy with how we performed. I don't know, it's hard to just kind of have a period in your head of this is where we should be, but I think we made a lot of progress this spring, and so I'm happy with that.
All the guys that didn't participate tonight, you expect them to be fine.
Yeah, I think by not even by August, I think by June. I think when we're running up and running June 1, I think we're going to have everybody here, and so again, so much of the guys that were missing, we had very few kids get hurt actually during spring. The majority of it was postseason surgeries, and so that's just getting through the recovery phases. We had a couple mixing bumps, guys through spring, but we were fortunate we made it through spring without any major injuries, and so nobody's going to miss significant time from an injury that happened in the spring. And so the only significant injuries were postseason stuff, and so those will all be done by the time summer comes.
I know it's different when the quarterback's wearing red and down by touch, but RJ Oben had 4 sacks tonight. How important is he moving forward in the postseason?
Yeah, I mean, RJ's critical because I think he has a lot of natural pass rush, and that's something that he has, and I think he's starting to really come into his own, play in, play out as the player we think he's capable of being, not just a pass rusher, but kind of a play in, down out guy. And so, he's critical. We have to be able to get some more pressure out of our 4 down. We've got to be able to get some more edge rush. He's certainly a guy that can provide that for us.
Mike, how solid is your roster right now? Are you expecting some turnover over the summer?
I think there's always a possibility. I don't know that we're necessarily expecting it. I still think we've got some roster management to do to get it where we ultimately want it to be. We're always going to be aware of what's going on in the portal out there, who's available. So those things are always in play, but we certainly don't have a lot of scholarships. We don't really have any, to be honest with you, but there's always ways to learn.
What about the offensive line? It seems like you're doing a lot of different things up there. How do you feel like that's coming along?
Yeah, I think it's coming along well. Obviously, those kids had to be, warriors. We only have 9 of them. And anytime you go into a scrimmage with 9 offensive linemen, that's not ideal. And so, hats off to those guys for pushing through it. We were able to get a lot of really good work this spring with 9. And that's a challenge, but we were able to do it. And so hats off to Coach Cushing and the way he rotated those guys and kept them going, and just hats off to those guys for allowing us to come out. And I think we're going to have enough pieces, when it's all healthy and everybody gets in there and we're able to get everybody back and going. Because the other thing too is, we're still trying to, rotate Jacob Monk a little bit. He's
Right.
played so much football. He certainly doesn't need to increase his snap count in a spring scrimmage in year 5. And so, you got a lot of moving parts in terms of what we're trying to do with that offensive line. And so I think by the time we come here against Clemson and we have everyone comfortable in the system and healthy and a full summer and training and all of that stuff, I think we're going to be pretty happy with what we have.
Henry seems more poised to do a better job this year.
Yeah.
He seems more ready. Can you talk about his progress at quarterback room for a moment?
Yeah, I mean, we can't win without a quarterback, and I think
Right.
that's obviously going to be our recipe, and we know that. And so his development was critical because, obviously Riley's very talented, but you're always one play away in the quarterback room, and we can't have one play derail our season. And so his development was critical. And so he's had a really good offseason. I think he's gotten a much better feel for what we're trying to do. I think he gets better every time he comes out here. Again, there's still some things that we'd like to see him improve on, but I think he had a really, really good spring and took some really big strides. Good. Appreciate you guys. Sorry to make